Greetings, Poke fans. Welcome back to Poke Relaxing. And today we have a fun little video with a couple of things on the agenda. One is I want to talk about some of the things that I frequently think about as like, I don't know, corollaries or like connected issues with respect to Pokemon on the one hand and sports cards on, on the other. I actually have been kind of wanting to do some content for a long time talking about like how these two markets are similar, how they're different, how, particularly the Pokemon folks who are kind of wrapped up in the investment concept right now, excuse me, could, learn from what happened with sports cards in kind of the boom period of 2020 through sort of the first half of 2021 and what has happened in that market since then. So, Glenn, our friend, from one of my other channels dedicated to sports cards, was kind enough to order one of these Pokemon collector chests that I've got on the site. I'll have to check if I have any more of these. I just opened a fresh case of them, so I do have them available. And these are a steal for $20, considering where the market is at. I'll talk a little bit about that. But anyways, Glenn, who, is mostly familiar with sports cards and really not Pokemon at all, thought it would be fun to, order one of these and see what comes out of it and maybe try to learn a little bit about Pokemon cards in the process. So I'm going to try to kind of open these cards up and talk about some of the similarities I see in the sports card market and try to sort of explain the Pokemon world to the card collector or sports card collector like Glenn. So this box comes with a few tchotchkes. You saw some promos there. There's a little binder you can put your cards in. And some stickers. So I'm going to ship everything sort of, that's not packaging to Glenn. So this product is like many in the Pokemon world where it's sort of a retail focused thing that is intended for the big box stores of the world, but also does appear at hobby shops less frequently. And it's got a sort of small handful of booster packs, which are the really the only form of product, of actual card product in the whole Pokemon game. There's no jumbo packs. There's no. I guess there are like occasionally you see. I forget what they call them. They're basically like fun packs. They're little mini packs of like 3 cards, and those were sometimes seen at like Dollar Trees and other kind of discount stores. But other than that, you really only see the booster packs as the format in which these cards get distributed. Whereas sports cards has many different formats. They've got, what we would call hobby pack. Then they've got retail packs that show up in a bunch of retail products. They've got fat packs. They've got hanger packs, which is a big, thick pack of cards that comes in a small little cardboard box that hangs on the rack at the store. So there's a lot more simplicity in Pokemon than in sports cards, and it's not surprising because there's only one company that makes Pokemon cards, whereas in sports cards you've got several. And I'll use that opportunity to talk a little bit about what I think is interesting, because sometimes I wonder, is the Pokemon collector base ever going to get just like sick or tired of some of, of the cards that come out of these things from past sets. They just get bored with them. They move on. Are there basically too many hits to keep track of? Too many, good cards that people eventually will just not want because there's too many, things to chase. But then I thought, you know what? The number of like sort of cards to chase in Pokemon is infinitely, okay, not infinitely, but way smaller than the number of cards in sports cards. Because you think about it, you've got, multiple manufacturers, and each of those manufacturers makes about 1,000 sets, and each of those sets has 1,000 parallels. And, if you collect one player, let's say you collect, I don't know, Tom Brady, well, he could have, 2,000 different cards in a given year. And if the market can handle that amount of variety of sort of, hit cards, or cards to chase, then Pokemon seems like wildly more simple and basic. And I think that's actually a huge selling point of Pokemon cards. Like everybody's, kind of focusing on the same chase cards in each set, and there's a, limited number of them. We all sort of have a good familiarity of the chase cards within a set. So it just makes it, I don't know, easier for cards to have demand build up in the space when everybody sort of knows and understands what we're all seeking out of these sets. Whereas in sports cards, it's not necessarily that clear. You could easily get confused if you're a new collector of sports cards, figuring out, oh, do I chase the purple pulsar prism, or do I chase the orange disco prism, or do I chase the silver prisms, or and there's 100 more to keep track of. So Pokemon is very simple. You can still pull very high dollar cards. Let's talk about these packs. Paradox Rift, there's probably $40, $50 cards in there. Obsidian Flames, there's a Charizard in here worth $100. Paldea Evolved has the Magikarp, which is worth $300. Those are all ungraded, mind you. If you get PSA 10s, you multiply those numbers by 2. So, there are cards definitely that are high value in these products, even though we don't have numbered cards and we don't have, all these different parallels of varying rarities. So Pokemon is it's sort of daunting to learn at the outset, like what you're chasing for. But I don't know. I think I've picked up a lot of information very quickly, and I think it would be a lot easier for a sports card collector to kind of get into Pokemon, as I did, than it would be for a Pokemon collector to get into sports cards, if neither knew anything about the other type of collecting. So that is very appealing, I think, to a lot of people, and I'm reminded a lot of, how simple collecting was back like in 1988 and 89, when there was like 4 baseball card sets. Nobody cared about football or basketball cards because they were worthless. And within those 4 baseball card sets, we all knew who we were chasing at any given time. We all knew we wanted the Ken Griffey Jr. card, and that card had a lot of value because even though there were like millions, hundreds of millions perhaps, of those Ken Griffey Jr. rookie cards, they still were an easy $10, $15, sell in the marketplace because so many people wanted them. All right, so let's talk about the pack. So that I've got those collector chests at $19.99, which is an obscene price, right? Because basically you're paying $3.33 for these packs, and if you've gone to a Target lately, as I have done several times in the last week, a couple weeks, there is not a single pack on the shelves. I went to Target today, and the sports card section fully stocked. Pokemon section, 1 row of checkout lane blister packs, and like maybe 4 or 5 different 4 or 5 box products total. And there were like maybe 2 three kinds of things. So they had a bunch of stuff they had one box of. I mean, it is a desert out there. You cannot buy stuff. And by the way, if you buy any product at Target, you're paying, basically $5 a pack for anything you get from Target. So here we have a bunch of packs from the current era for $3.33. I mean, no brainer, plus no tax if you buy from me, unless you happen to live in North Dakota. So and these sets are actually really good. So I mean, every set is kind of really good right now, but let's talk a little bit. So all of these sets are from the current era, right? So Pokemon cards don't have, sort of seasons like sports cards do, which of course, in sports cards, they're tracking the seasons of the sport that they depict on the cards. But there's no, 2023 season of Pokemon. So instead they have eras, which is basically a period of time, usually about a year, I think, where they release sets that will all be, kind of under a sub-brand, which is the era. So the current era is Scarlet and Violet, and this is the Obsidian Flames under that set. And there'll be about 12 sets or so in each era. And, of course, the further, there are eras that go back, I don't know, at this point, how many total eras there are? It's got to be like 6 or 7, I think. But yeah, that's kind of how they, and it's funny because I was really confused for a long time when I bought a Sun and Moon. This is back in 2019. I bought a Sun and Moon booster box, and this is when I knew nothing about Pokemon. I had my sports card channel, ASMR Sports, and I don't know, I was bored and I was like, let's do some Pokemon. I had some requests for it. So I ordered that box. It was like $90. I think it was Cosmic Eclipse, or there was one other one I ordered. I can look at my sort of accounting records and see what I ordered, and I ordered 2 during the Sun and Moon era. But anyways, I ordered that box, and I didn't know anything about any of this stuff. So I just thought it was a quote-unquote Sun and Moon box. And so sometimes I would wonder, like, oh, I wonder how that box I bought was. So I'd go search for Sun and Moon, and like a bunch of different stuff would come up, and I'm like, what is going on here? So I didn't realize Sun and Moon was the era. I thought, that was the set, even though there is a set, which is the first set in the era, just called Sun and Moon, and there's the first set in the Scarlet and Violet era called just Scarlet and Violet. So that was very confusing for me, but if somebody had explained it to me, I think I, would have found it very simple. So we're in the Scarlet and Violet era. We're on set 8, and then there's a 8.5, which is sort of a kind of a a mini set or a specialty set coming out next week. And so at that point we'll have 8.5 sets. Actually, we'll have something like 10, because basically they give the specialties a half number in the numbering. But like Paradox Rift is Scarlet and Violet 4, Paldea Evolved is Scarlet and Violet 2, Obsidian Flames, I forget which one. I think it's 5, Scarlet and Violet 5. So anyways, that's how they release the different sets in Pokemon. And so some people like the era before this, which is called Sword and Shield. Some people like, really old stuff, some of the first sets that came out. And so they're, maybe they're spending $400 on a single pack of cards in that case. But anyways, that's how the kind of sets work. That's how they're released. These sets are all good. They all have, good cards you can get in them, like expensive cards. The cheapest set from this era is that Scarlet and Violet base set. If you get a pack of that in a product like this, you're probably like a little bummed out because it's the least valuable, pack, and generally probably has the least valuable cards, even though there are some very good cards in that set. I don't think there's any like big, huge ones over like probably $30, whereas there are cards worth over $30 in every one of these sets. So in any event, that's what we've got here. So I'm going to open these in order here of actually sort of value. I don't know, it's at once upon a time, the values may have been a little bit different, the relative values, but let's say maybe Paradox Rift is least valuable at this point, but Obsidian Flames is very close in value. So yeah, when we get in here for Glenn and for other kind of rookie collectors, and I know most of the people probably who are watching at this point are, long-time collectors or relatively experienced collectors, and feel free to comment additional observations you think would be relevant to a sports card collector who's interested in learning about Pokemon card collecting. So here's what you get. You get 10 cards in a pack. It's always got a code card too, which has a little code on there that you can plug into the online game. I'll show this one, and then somebody will use it, and then, Glenn won't get the value of that. Sorry, Glenn. I'll try not to show the other ones in case Glenn wants to plug them into the game, but the code card is one thing that comes in every pack. And then you get a bunch of these just kind of base cards, and they have little symbols on them. That little circle there is the symbol for a common card, and those are all going to be pretty much worthless. There are also diamond cards, which is a uncommon card, so that's kind of like a step up from common, but still worthless. And then eventually we will see a star card, and that's a rare. So most of these rares that are just, not really particularly shiny. This is a little bit shiny because it's called a reverse holo. So the image, or the card around the image, it has a little foil to it, little foil kind of pattern. But these are generally worthless as well. And so here is another one of those. Both of those are, this is a uncommon, that's a rare. And then the sort of hit is usually one per pack. Sometimes you get two. And this is this is a holo. So this is a star. I think all of the holos are stars. I might be wrong about that. I can't remember. But this is also fairly worthless. I'll show you an example of a card like that you would expect to have greater value. But so this is, a hit, right? This is actually a fairly good hit. It's the image takes up the whole card and not just the little box on the top. This one has a little kind of like pattern on it. It's like kind of like a thumbprint, sort of, ridges, little tiny ridges in there. And the whole thing is very, it's metallic and reflective. Kind of like not quite like a refractor. I mean, it's still sort of like a rainbow foil or something like that in sports cards. But, that would be a hit. And there are cards that are sort of a combination of this and this. And those are usually called EX cards. This card is an EX card is too. Just EX is like a card that has like a special sort of ability, I think, in the game. And then you get an energy card. Excuse me. These cards are, useful. If you play the game, you have to have energy cards to do certain moves or attacks in the game. So they kind of put one of those in every pack, and they put like a whole stack of them in a lot of products that they sell. So you always have a bunch of them around if you play the game. If you don't play the game, they're probably going to be pretty useless to you. Sometimes you do see like foil energy cards or different, sort of like patterned energy cards, and those can have some value. It looks like we got a hit, and I can tell because you see how it's, it's rainbowy, shiny, and this one actually has a pattern to it, so I think it's going to be a pretty good hit. We will find out. So we just go through these base cards. Some people might just like skip through them, especially if you're a breaker and you're going through hundreds of packs. You don't want to take the time, and that's fine. But I do like to, especially for a video like this where I'm trying to, teach folks about what you can expect in a pack. I do like to kind of show everything. All right, so this is a um, it's a 2-star rare, so double star is what I would call this. There's an official name for it, um, but I don't have those all memorized. And this one's actually pretty nice because it's got a little pattern to it, so it's probably a little rarer than some of these EX cards that don't have like a pattern to it. But because it's not a full, a full art as we. Okay, I gave away another code card. I'm sorry, Glenn. Because it's not a. I have some promos here from. Oh, those are from the box as well. Okay, so those go in the stack going back. I'm trying to find some sleeves, but generally an EX card, that's not a full art, is going to not have much value. Some of them, because of their sort of playability, which is like their value in the Pokemon game for those that play it, if that's high, then you can have cards that are worth 10 or 15 bucks that look like this. I don't think this is probably one of them, but we're going to probably look up some of the cards in here so I can tell you exactly what they're worth. But that was it for, but I will say that is considered a hit. So, one hit, 2 packs is a good start. So that was Paradox Rift. Let's go to Obsidian Flames. There's a couple of really nice Charizard cards in here. Most people are familiar with Charizard, even if they don't play the game or know much about Pokemon, just because Charizard is kind of right next to Pikachu in terms of popularity. So most people are familiar. Take the code card out. Save that for Glenn. So most people are familiar with Charizard, the dragon character, one of the dragon characters, the most common or the most popular dragon character. And as you might have guessed from the name, Obsidian Flames, Umbreon is a very popular Pokemon right now. Each of these guys are called Pokemon. That's what they are. So if you get a kind of a hit of Umbreon, you might be in business in terms of value. Yeah, so there's a couple of Charizards in here that are pretty sweet. One of them is a gold card, which if we don't get a gold, which we probably won't because they're quite rare, I'll show you what they look like because I have a stack of cards next to me and there's a gold in there. But the golds are interesting, especially for sports card collectors, just because a gold card in sports cards is like, generally pretty valuable. Usually those cards would be numbered and fairly low numbered, so they often have a high value. But in Pokemon, gold cards are not numbered. No cards are numbered in Pokemon. They are quite rare, but for some reason, the market does not value gold cards in Pokemon like they do in sports cards. So all right, let's go for the last 2 packs here. Paldea Evolved has a really nice chase card called a Magikarp, which is very striking. It has this like sort of dark, and I think we got, no, shoot, I thought we had some. Cool reverse holo there, another reverse holo in the holo. Another code card. So last pack, and when we get the last pack in a product, we say last pack magic, so that we get a great hit in our last pack. And if you get a great hit, you're probably going to start collecting Pokemon cards. If you don't, this will feel very familiar. I don't think I see a hit there. This will be very familiar to sports cards where, a lot of times you spend a pile of money on stuff and then you get nothing out of it. So yeah, we did kind of strike out on this box. But another thing I love about Pokemon is 20 bucks for 6 packs is very, very reasonable. Now, we didn't pull anything of any significant value out of there. I don't really have to look up that EX. I know it's probably not worth more than like a couple bucks. Could be wrong, but 90% I'm right. But I was at Target today, and again, the sports card section was like just loaded. Had kind of everything, that was out at that point. And I bought a box of the best product in there, which is this football set that just came out, Prism Football 2024. It's usually like the most popular set in football cards each year. And it was in a little called I keep wanting to say booster box, but it's a blaster box in sports cards, which is actually not equivalent to a booster box. It's much smaller, and it has usually only 5 packs or 6 packs if you're lucky. But I bought one of those, and it was $35 for that thing, and the odds are very high you'll get nothing worth anything out of it. So $20 for 6 packs, I think, is way better deal, even if you don't get anything. So that's another reason I do enjoy Pokemon cards, is it's relatively cheap compared to the cost of opening sports cards. Even though it's hard to find right now in stores. I mean, again, why not just go online? I mean, I don't get it. I mean, even if you go to Target.com, they'll have a ton of Pokemon stuff in stock. So people, I get it. You don't want to wait sometimes for stuff. But it's not like Pokemon is impossible to get. It's very easy to get at MSRP. In fact, you can get it, as Glenn did, for well under MSRP. The MSRP on that collector tin that I just opened is $29.95, and he got it for $19.99, as can you. So even though people would like to see Pokemon in every Target everywhere, the idea that it's not possible to get it for kids or whoever want to collect it and just open it is silly. You just have to work slightly harder. But really, is ordering online working harder, or is it working smarter? Because I think it's the latter. All right, folks, this box came today. Man, I've been waiting forever. This came from Michigan, and I'm in North Dakota, and we're both in the upper Midwest. It took like I think a week or more to get to me. I'm like, what the F? The Postal Service is very slow right now, and UPS is not doing much better. So that's not cool, but I don't know. Maybe they're still catching up from the holidays. But anyways, this box I've been waiting for. What this is, I talked about this before, is I've been kind of interested in buying, lots of loose packs, like bundles of loose packs, because sometimes you can find them for very cheap, and if they're not picked through because they've been weighed or whatever, you're usually going to get a pretty solid deal. And if you're just going to open them anyways, what does it matter if they're loose versus in a sealed product if they're a lot cheaper? The answer to that question, by the way, that was not rhetorical, is that you're taking a risk by buying loose packs. Because they can be, weighed, or somehow, I think people have used like metal detectors on them to find like the hits, which usually have foil in them. So you're taking a risk. And I think that the risk is much higher if, for example, you buy, 1 or 2 loose packs on eBay from, some jabroni who you don't know from a hole in the wall. I'm not saying this is much better, but, I did buy these from an established online vendor, not like one of the big ones, but, someone who's been around at least a while. They have, a fair sort of, look at that, I got a coupon. Wow, that's exciting. They have, they have a few indicators that suggest they're not going to try to wantonly rip off people. So that's good. These weren't like terribly cheap, but they were cheaper than anything sealed I would get. I will say also that the packaging of this, the box and stuff, and how it was wrapped and labeled was very, primo. I can't tell you who I bought these from yet, because if these are good, I'm going to go buy some more. And they didn't have too many, so I don't want to compete against myself trying to buy these. But anyways, loose packs, you know, generally speaking, you should avoid. Unless, you know somebody who has an online store, they have a good reputation. Boy, these are really clean. I mean, they are just fresh looking. It's almost like you could grade them. Dang. So, yeah, so generally avoid them, but especially avoid buying like individual packs or, small amounts of packs from TCG Player or from eBay or places like that. Buying, a lot of them from someone who's fairly well established is, I would say, substantially less risky. If I didn't have a YouTube channel and I didn't want to kind of have interesting content, including seeing if I can get ripped off by buying loose packs, I don't know that I would buy these, but I might. I also have the problem of having two, young children who have an insatiable desire to open packs. So I need a lot of packs. And I don't really want to open my booster box. I'd rather just let those sit. So that's the primary reason I'm kind of hunting around for deals on loose packs. Although I will say they will be more disappointed than I would be if they open a bunch of packs and they don't get hits, because yeah, they're very they're not happy when they don't get hits. Which is, by the way, so for those of you who don't know, Crown Zenith is my favorite set, I would say. It's a set that has been around, or I should say, it's been easily kind of accessible. You've been able to get this relatively easily for basically since it came out. But that is getting it's getting, well, quite a bit harder to get at MSRP. Still not impossible, but a lot harder than it was, 6 months ago, when you could easily get these, find these sitting around at Target. So it's a really cool set in that it has a ton of hits in it. A lot of them are worth quite a bit. So there's a really good chance of getting a lot of value out of these, out of this set and the packs that come from it. So that's why I like it. I mean, bam, look at that. 2 hits, first pack, come on. So, yeah, a lot of people love this set. I love it because, I'm all about the hits, right? I want to get hits. My kids want to get hits. Even if they weren't worth that much, I would still love a product that has a ton of hits. And there's not many like it, I have to say. And the fact that many of the hits are worth, $50 plus, and a few of them are $100 plus, I mean, that's just icing on the cake. So I think the primary reason this set has not commanded more respect, even though it's starting to get, a lot of interest, is because it's been so available, and people think, well, it's easily available, so it must be trash. And that's not, an invalid kind of thought process, because a lot of times if places are swimming in product, it's, it's hard for the singles prices to go up, it's hard for the sealed to go up, but, yeah, this stuff is going to start drying up. You'll see when I do my kind of weekly purchases video, I bought some of the product that you can get with this stuff in it from Pokemon Center, and that recently sold out, so that's gone now. It's getting harder and harder to find at MSRP any of this stuff. So we got a Radiant Charjabug. My daughter actually got this in a box that she opened yesterday for her birthday, and we looked it up. It was like basically $1 card. So there's a free code card for folks. Oops, I started putting these cards in the Glenn pile. Sorry, Glenn. So far, these packs seem legit. I mean, they are really just clean. I mean, it's really like they took them straight out of, Seeing Sky boxes or some other product that has a lot of packs, and put them in a box and plan to sell them off that way. So I don't know. I have to say though, I opened one of the other things. So I got my daughter two. We got a hit in here. I got her two products with Crown Zenith. One was one of those boxes from Pokemon.com. It's like a figure box. It's got a little toy figure in it, and then like 11 packs of Crown Zenith. And then I got another box. She's a big Pikachu fan, so I saw a Pikachu, I think like VMAX box from a few years ago, or not a few, but maybe a year and a half ago, at my local LGS. And so I bought that one, which was a total rip-off, but you know, it is what it is. That one, she got like one base EX card out of it, and there was like 5 packs in there. So she was pretty bummed about that, but then I let her have one of the figure boxes, and you know, every pack had a hit. So I do sort of think it often depends where these kinds of things come from, what products. Volo, very nice. I don't know what that's worth, but it is a nice hit, textured hit. There's the code card. Might be our nicest hit. It's definitely, I think, the rarest hit that we've got. So yeah, if I ever see deals on Crown Zenith, I buy them. And basically a deal, I would say, is anything under like $4.50 a pack, whether it's, you know, in a booster bundle or in a collection box or something like that. Doesn't matter to me. If it's under that kind of $4.50 price, I'm gonna buy it. And actually, I've definitely bought stuff that's been like a little over $5 a pack, just because I wanted the product. But yeah, let's do another code card. So I don't know. So far, these packs seem quite legit to me. I am pretty much ready, especially now that I have a coupon. I think I'm ready to go pick up some more. I see another hit coming. Another textured hit. Colress's Experiments. We're getting tons of trainers. And a Hoopa. So yeah, I really like these packs. And again, I would still probably not ever sell these. Unless I told people, like, I am selling packs that I bought loose. You know. Other than that, I would never sell loose packs. Since I can't personally vouch for them. But, you know, I wouldn't mind having like a few hundred of these loose packs just sitting around to kind of open up a couple a week for the next 2 years. My kids will go through them in like freaking 3 days. Voltorb. Full art. Very nice. So pretty much what I expected. I have to say I've mentioned this in the comments before, but I have opened like Seeing Sky boxes, which are those Sam's Club boxes that had like 14, I think, packs of Crown Zenith for like $40, which is like $2.80 a pack. It's ridiculously cheap. I've opened those before and gotten completely robbed, just like absolute trash hits. But as I think I've also mentioned before, you know, my kids have opened a couple of those boxes, and they did really well. My older daughter pulled the Mewtwo that's like now a $120 card raw. So, I don't know, they're kind of hit and miss. I feel like a lot of things are like that in Pokemon, but so far, wow, this is like my first dud pack. Nothing in there. We have not gotten any like valuable hits. Those trainers are pretty nice. Those are both textured rares, so they could have some value, but I've never heard of either of those trainers. Usually is not a good sign. But I'm not super familiar with all of the cards that have value in this set, just kind of the top ones. Boom, that's cool. Oh, wow, that's really cool. So, again, these kind of like, just sort of rainbow hollow full art, yellow border hits from this set are, some of the least valuable cards in it. Um, but this is a Mew, and Mew is very popular. It's a little off center, so it's not going to be gradable. So, anyways, because it's a Mew, I feel like this is probably going to... It's making a noise when I put it in. Oh, I think it's because the sleeve is curved, so it's kind of scratching it a little bit as it goes in. But anyways, I bet that's probably a somewhat valuable card. Maybe it's like $8 or something. That would be my guess. It's also really cool because it's, a fun, peaceful little design there, and sleeping, sort of cute characters like Eevee and stuff are often popular cards. So yeah, I don't know. I might stop after this pack because I feel very confident in these things, and I will probably buy out what they have left of them. Again, I think it was like, I want to say it was like $150. Maybe I feel like 151s stand out in my mind, not because the 151 set, but so that was, yeah, I think that's right. I think it was like $151 for these. So that's $4.19 a pack, which again, if you were buying some rando pack on eBay for that amount, you probably would be advised not to do that. But, like those boxes I got from Pokemon Center with the figurines, I think the packs in there cost me a little over $5, right? So, do I really want to break a bunch of those to get, my pack breaking itch scratched? Not if I can get $4.19 packs. Okay, we got to end on a hit, guys. I just can't be ending on a dud. So we've only gotten, I think, 2 dud packs. And it's funny, so this set is from the Sword and Shield era, okay, and every set from the Sword and Shield era is on the way up. This is 36 packs, so that's basically the equivalent of a booster box. If there was such thing as a booster box of Crown Zenith, that thing would be well over $300 right now. So to get 150, clean packs that appear to have no problems whatsoever yielding hits, I think is a no-brainer. Uh-oh, did I get 2 duds in a row? I'm going to have to open more packs. Well, you know how we do, folks. You know how we do. Got to get that hit. Kind of hoping I'd have 3 or so of these left in this stack, so my daughter can take care of those when she gets home from school. But probably have to break into the second stack. Alright, do we get anything? Alright, we're relying on a full art. Nothing shiny in here. Salandit. Oh, man. I think I jinxed myself saying I was in the clear, but again, you could probably go 4 or 5 packs without getting a hit, and it would be fine. Your average booster box of Pokemon cards is going to have somewhere between like 12 and 15 hits in it, each of these being a hit. So we've opened, this is a third of the packs, and we've gotten, with 2 packs left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So right now, we're on pace for 21 hits. I think, yeah, we got a hit finally. So I'll probably stop after this one. And so then we'll be at a 24 hit. Well, it's just a Radiant, but still cool. It is one we got before. So yeah, so these packs are just fine as far as I can tell. I mean, assuming that the other ones I order are going to be from the same place, I think I'm in good shape and have some nice packs to open for me and the kids when the itch strikes, and maybe we'll try to complete this set since it's my favorite set. So all these hits will be useful. Anyways, that's what we got for today, folks. I hope you're doing well. I'm starting to get the nasty comments who don't understand what ASMR is or don't understand what relaxing is. So I apologize for those people mucking up the comments. Although I think I'm gonna do what like a lot of YouTubers do, which is to like pin all of the negative comments, perhaps with my snarky response to them. But if you made it this far, you're definitely a person who likes to relax, who likes Pokemon content, and is trying to avoid seizures, at least when you watch some of your Pokemon content. I always talk about PokeRev when I respond to these commenters, and I have nothing against PokeRev. I love PokeRev. I watch his channel all the time. But I do it in the middle of the day when I'm trying to, stay awake, and I want to be energized. You all probably watch these maybe after work, kind of taking it easy, maybe get it on your second screen while you're getting some emails in. Maybe you watch it as you're trying to doze off to sleep. But that's the focus here, is to be kind of your Pokemon content for the one time a day when you're hoping to just sort of kick back and not necessarily be, wowed into a cerebral fit of glory and seizure. With that, folks, I hope you're staying relaxed out there. We'll catch you all next time. Have a great one. Bye now.